Welcome everybody to this live stream. So this is all about guidelines. So I know guidelines is just there; it's a tool, but I will show you how helpful it is in creating graphics. So, but before moving to the guidelines, I'm just going to point out the properties of a guideline. So, for example, here I've got some list here what what guidelines can do, right? So, but first of all, I'm going to show you how to go to get the guideline. So in here, so if you want a horizontal guideline, so you just click here in the rulers and then drag, okay? And then that's the same with in the vertical guideline, so click and drag. Now you got two guidelines now. So now let's go to the list. So the first one in the list is that guidelines can be rotated. Yes, it can. So when you have guidelines like this, and if you click on one guideline, and then you can make the rotation in here. Say, for example, you want his to 70 degrees, and then click enter, and it goes to 70 degrees, right? But it is also possible to visually rotate it by I'll click on this one and then click one more time, and then you will see here that you've got some rotation angles here, so you can rotate it this way or rotate it that way, right? And also you if you click on, we'll go to this guide now. If you click on this one more time, you see this is the rotation angle. So rotation angle can be changed, right? So the default was here in the center, but you can also move this one over here, and then that will be the rotation angle. So that's going to be useful when you are doing, say, perspective lines and stuff like that. Okay, so we've got that one in the list, and I also talk about it can be changed, the rotation center, and it can also be duplicated. So for example, I'm happy with this guideline here and I want to duplicate it. So just click on it, and then you go to your plus sign in your keyboard, and then move one guideline to the left or right. Now I can duplicate. So basically you can duplicate it. So now the next one is guidelines can be locked, right? So if I get a guideline here and then I want to lock that guideline so that it won't be moved, because right now it's unlocked, so I can move it around. So you click on a guideline, and then right mouse click, and then you click on lock, right? And now it's locked. I can't do anything, right? I can't accidentally move it. So now let's go to the next one here. Guidelines can be hidden individually. For if you want to remove all or hide all the guidelines, you just go to here, view, and uncheck this, and guidelines would disappear, right? But say, for example, you don't want all the guidelines to be to disappear. You just only say, for example, this one. So you click on this, and then right mouse click, and then you go hide, right? And then if you want that to be visible again, you just go to view. Sorry, not view. You go to uncheck this, no, and then guidelines there again. I think you have to go to, yes, you have to go to object, and then hide, show all, and then that guideline will show up. Okay, so the next one is guideline can we can hide all guidelines. We talked about that already. You can change the color of a guideline. So a guideline can be changed of color. If you want to change it, just double click on one guideline, and this will appear, and then you can change the color. Say, for example, you want it orange. There, now it changes the color. That might be useful if you want to distinguish one one guideline to the other. The next one is guidelines. We can snap to guidelines. Yeah, that's very true. So for example, but make sure in your view make sure you snap to guidelines. Make sure guidelines is turned on. So for example, I'm going to draw a circle. I'm just going to draw a circle here, right? And then I want to put this circle, the center of the circle, to the intersection of this guideline. So I can just like click on that, and then I can drag it from the center and snap it to that intersection, right? The same thing with squares. If you want to say move this, and it snaps. If you take a look here, it snaps. See that it snaps. So that's also very useful. Now let's what else can we do? So we can snap to guidelines. Can multi-select. Okay, you can multi-select guidelines. So for example, I want to click. I want to select this, and then hold down Shift, right? And then select this. Oh, that's locked, so we can't do. We can select that. So this one, and then you can delete. Okay. And then we'll unlock this first so that we can unlock it, so that we can delete that too. All right. So now guidance will not be printed. Yes, it won't be printed. So guidelines, if you drag a guideline like that and then say you want to send it to your printer, that won't print. Okay. And then the last one, objects can become a guideline. Yes, objects can become a guideline, but I'm not sure if that's really useful. Maybe in some cases. So for example, this one, you want this to be a guideline. So you go to your window and then Docker, and then go to objects. So when you click on objects, all the guidelines that were created will have one layer, which is guides here, right? So now you can make this as a guide by clicking on an object and then dragging this and then putting it to the guide layer. Now you notice it became blue because that's a guide. Okay, but this is just a guide and it won't be printed. It won't be an object. It won't be considered an object. So I'm not sure if that's useful. Probably that will be useful in other situations. So I'm just going to close that one, and I'm just going to delete this one too. Okay, so that's all for the properties. Now let's go to the real action, or the real use of a guideline. So I've prepared something here. I think this is the first logo that so this is just like a sample logo, and guidelines is useful here because if you take a look at this one, it is a perspective logo. So if I'm just going to lock this first. Say I'm going to recreate this one. I'm just going to lock this first. And then I'm going to find the vanishing point of this logo, right? So the vanishing point would be useful so that I can draw the other perspective line. So I grab one guideline, and then I'm going to rotate it. So click one more time, and see, notice this one. I'm not going to rotate it now because if I'm going to rotate it, it's going to rotate from this or this rotation center. So I'm going to move this one, and I'm going to move it to there. And now I can rotate it. Okay, so that's my first line. And then here, I'm going to look for the rotation angle. Perspective line for this one. It looks like it's a straight line. So now this is our vanishing point. Okay, so that's for our left side. Now let's look for the vanishing point on the right side. So you drag one, and then you go here to that edge, and then click one more time. Again, move the rotation to that intersection, and then move it like that. Okay, so with this one, you are actually, these guys are helpful now to recreate the logo. So if I'm going to recreate this, I'm just going to drag one guideline there, and then another guideline here. Okay, but then I can also add another what do you call this, perspective line here using a guideline. So I'm gonna grab one. So this one is fine, and I'm gonna grab one again, and then see this one. So I have to click on it, okay, and then I'm going to rotate this until I hit the vanishing point, which is this one here, okay, and I'm going to drag this one going to that vanishing point. Okay, so I'm just showing you the technique, but I'm not going to finish it because that's going to be for another tutorial. So now let's go to the next one. So I'm clicking on the next one here. Okay, so for the next one, guidelines also is going to be useful when lining up text or objects, right? Especially when the printer will say, okay, okay, say, Alex, I want you to have like a 1/4 inch around, like a margin around. So guidelines would be helpful for this one. I'm also going to show you a technique here. Sometimes when you create a, say this is a letter size paper, and you want to have like a shape here that is the size of your paper, double click on this one, and it gives you the paper size already. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do, since the printer says I want 0.25 inch margin, okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm going to go to my contour, and then I'm going to go inside contour, and then here I'm gonna type here 0.25 of an inch, right? And I'm just gonna click on one step, and there you go. Okay, so once I have that, now I can drag my guideline and then snap to that shape that we already contoured. See this one? So that's the one, and then this one here. Okay, and the one on the bottom like that. Okay, so now I don't need this shape anymore, so I click on that and then delete. Okay, so now I can move my text. I'm gonna move my text there, and then this picture. I'm just gonna click on view and then snap to guidelines so that I could snap it. Click there. And then for this one, I can also drag that there. And then I'm gonna make another guideline and then snap there. So now I follow the the request of the printer, which is 0.25 of an inch margin. All right, so the next one, we go to the next one. This one is perspective drawing. So sometimes you want to draw a perspective box and create it as a graphic. So what you can do is you can create, you can get one guideline first. So that's your horizon line, and then you can grab another one. Oops, sorry about that. You can actually grab another one, and then you're gonna rotate this. So click one more time, and then you're going to, I'm gonna move the rotation here, and then I'm going to rotate it this way. Okay, and then I'm gonna move this one, just move it there. Okay, so that's my vanishing point. So I'm gonna duplicate this, plus sign in your keyboard to duplicate, and I'm going to click one more time, and then I'm going to create one like that. Okay, so now this one I can create another line here. I'm gonna make another angled line like this. I'm just gonna move this one here, and I'm gonna duplicate that, plus sign your keyboard, and then click on the click on the guideline. I'll move this rotation here, and then I'm gonna go like this. So with this one, I can create my box already by dragging, say, my guidelines like that, and then here, and yeah. So then I'm going to duplicate this one more time, plus sign in your keyboard, and just move that there, and then go like this. Okay, and another one. I'm going to do another tutorial about this, but I'm just going to show you how useful it is in creating a perspective box. Okay, so after that, I'm done with that. I could just gonna do some adjustments here. One more time. There, and then I can go to my Bezier tool and then make sure I click on my snap to guidelines, and then I can just create my box now. That's for my first side. Just gonna move this one here, and close it. Okay, then I can just color this individually. And this one here. Oops. There. Okay, so next one. Okay, so the next one is this one. So for example, you want to align, or you want to create like a graphics like this, where you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 circles around. So I'm just gonna start from scratch here. So I'm going to delete this one. Okay, so we are going to delete that. So first I'm gonna grab one, right? And then I'm going to go to my, you go to your Dockers and then click on transform. So in the Dockers here, in the transform, I can actually rotate this with, say, 60-degree angle for my guideline. And then I'm going to say I want, say, three copies. So once I click on 3 copies here and I click on apply, it would give you 3 copies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with 60-degree angle. And then I can just draw a circle. Circle like that. And then drag this to the center. Oops. Delete that. Drag this to the center. And then say I want another circle. So say I want 6 circles. So I'm just going to move this here. Snap it. And then plus sign your keyboard. And then I'm going to grab one more. And plus sign again. So that's going to be useful in that scenario. And then my last one would be, and go to the last one here. And of course, the last one is when you want to recreate a logo, and you know that there are lots of vertical and horizontal lines. So I'm just gonna make this grayscale first. So you click on, sorry, not grayscale. I'm just gonna make this wireframe. Wireframe is just click on it. Grayscale, no, I'll just go to enhance, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to my transparency tool, click on uniform transparency. Yeah, that's better. And then I'm going to right mouse click and then lock this so that I won't accidentally move it. And then I'm going to start creating lines. We're just going to do 2 letters so that you just yeah, I'm just showing you the use of the guidelines. So for that one, and then I want to grab guideline there, guideline for this one, especially for this kind of logo. You need a lot of guidelines here, but the guidelines would be helpful. So here, let's just move this a bit here. Okay, so roughly it's like that, and then you can go to your Bezier tool, and then oops, I need one more here. Actually, I need one more here. Yeah, so you can go to your Bezier, and then you can just make sure you go to snap to guidelines, and then now I am ready to. So you click on the intersections, that this one, I'm just gonna choose that, and then later on I'm going to make that as a curve. Intersection, intersection, there. Oh, forgot the guideline there, and close it. Okay, so now for this one, you can just like double click here, and then move this over to the right, and then you can just make this as a curve like that. Right, double click, move this down, click on this curve. Okay, and then you can also finish this one too. So for the R, it's easy. That's the same thing, same procedure. And the E, it's obviously the E is the easiest because it doesn't have radius corners. This, and I think one more. So guidelines are really useful for this, and it would give you good accuracy in drawing or in creating lines, and also it's faster. Forgot that one there. Okay, so I'm gonna undo that. Okay, so I'm going to click on my Bezier again. That's perpendicular, that's good. Like that. And then look for intersection, 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 and there. It's all good. So I hope you like the tutorial, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And I'm going to create another live stream tomorrow around same time, and give me a like if you want to, and goodbye for now. See you tomorrow.